So good morning or good afternoon, everybody, no matter what part of the day or what part of the world you are watching in from, and welcome to the Flair School podcast once again. And today I have the amazing Samantha Kelly, Sam, the tweeting goddess, here with us from all the way from Wexford. So she's down the south of Dublin, or south of Ireland, and I'm in the mid-Ireland in Dublin. So Samantha, we are delighted to have you here. Thanks so much for agreeing to join us.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm just going to turn off my phone in case we get interrupted.
Good idea. Good idea. Sam, we have met, I'm actually nearly afraid to say how long ago. It must be 15 years ago that we originally would have connected through Twitter.
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about your background. How did you get into doing what you're doing now? Because I know your journey, but tell anyone that's listening in what your journey has been.
Sure. For anyone that's listening, that's thinking of starting a business, mine started, with an idea, and I had an idea for a gift box for a girl's first period. And it was from seeing my own daughter come to that milestone. And I felt really sorry for her. So I went to the shop looking for some beginner sets. There was no beginner sets. So right there and then in the supermarket aisle, I decided that I was going to start a business. Now, my dad had just passed away. My marriage had just broken up, and my youngest daughter was about to start mainstream school, and she has 2 hearing aids. She's hearing difficulties. And so I was kind of thinking, okay, I'm 40 now. What have I done? Is there anything I could do? Will I go back to work, and what would I like to do? So this is kind of where it was in my head. So I started the business called Funky Goddess. I had no money. I was a lone parent on social welfare at this stage, so I had no money. So I did it anyway. I borrowed from a bit of family, just started doing research. And at the time, I think Facebook was really the only kind of strong social media platform at the time. And then my sister put me on Twitter, which I was like, what do I do with this? And it turned out that actually I was really, really good at it. And so I became, to cut a long story short, I became really good on Twitter. And then I started learning all the other platforms because I realized I actually was really interested in this, and the power of, storytelling, the power of connecting with people online, the power of friendships that could be built online, and other business owners I was particularly interested in because I wanted to learn from them, and so that's really where it started. So now I'm one of probably the top Twitter experts in the world, but now it's changed to X. So my Twitter handle is tweeting goddess, and now I'm like, I can't really change to X goddess.
I don't think it'll ever fully change over, though. I think it'll always still be X, formerly known as Twitter, or Twitter now that they call it X. But you know what I think you are probably most famous for, Sam, is connecting people. And you have done it so many times with us as our business over the years, with our florists in business over the years. And I see even now, and only recently you sent me a screenshot, Deirdre, look at that, because I wouldn't be good on Twitter. And look at that, and go into Twitter and have a look at that. You are so good at connecting people and bringing people together. And you have done that on so many different wavelengths. And I know at the moment now you're doing it for Virgin Media.
Yeah, Virgin Media Business have created a backing business community, and it's a free community. So I'm the brand ambassador, and I just think it's a really good community because of the fact that, sometimes we can't afford memberships, or if we can afford memberships of communities or networks, you don't always get the value that you want to get from the network. So it's really important to find the right network for you. I know that you're really good at building a community around your brand. And this is the key. A lot of people don't realize building a community around your brand is really a good idea, because when you have a community around your brand, they will be your brand advocates. They will tell other people about you, but you have to keep giving value. And the value that Virgin Media Business are bringing to the backing business community, like the events are free to attend. They have online events as well for people who can't make it to events. They have opportunities. Like one of the people we know, Anne Healy, was featured in the Virgin Media Business Business Hub online. So all those little boosts help us business owners, those little PR opportunities and stuff.
Yeah, and what you said at the very beginning of how you started out, I suppose for a lot of people starting out in business, they don't have money. They don't know how to use social media. They have a fantastic idea. They know what to do. So like we say, bringing it back to the flower industry, they're really good florists. They know how to buy flowers. They know how to sell flowers. They know how to make the most fabulous weddings, fabulous arrangements, fabulous designs. and they just can't get out there. They just can't get that next step. And I think for us, like, that's where I am one of the very first networking groups that you had, and we trended on Twitter. And that was in 2015. It was September 2015. We trended on Twitter because of your network and what you had done by bringing people together. And back then, Twitter was not what it is now today, you know. But so,
in saying that, just in saying that about Twitter, by the way, florists do really well on Twitter.
Really?
Yeah, because you see, don't forget the demographic, the audience that are on Twitter are X, even now, right? You're talking like people who are professional urban, who might have money to spend on flowers, because sometimes people might look at flowers as maybe a luxury item. I know I love to buy myself flowers in the local florist here in Wexford, and I buy them for myself. You know, it's like, I just love white and peach roses, for example. You know, everybody take note, sending me a present. Right? But I do love that look, you know, and just to be aware that, like, there are not many active florists on Twitter, but if you start connecting with people who you know have maybe a mother who's ill, or a parent, they're caring for a parent, or they might have a team, you know, staff, start connecting with those people, because they're the ones that are most.
That's so clever. That is because obviously Instagram is flooded with florists and flooded with where it's going to a network that there isn't as many. That's actually really, I would never have thought that. Jeanette, over onto X we're going.
I definitely thought, but there are a few that kind of use it, but they're not using it. They're more on the Instagram. But don't underestimate the power of a video, like short form video, especially. But on Twitter, video works really well as well. And, you know, don't be afraid to show us behind the scenes, and all of that stuff that you would do on Instagram will really work. Don't forget the people who, I always say Instagram is for window shopping, Twitter and LinkedIn is for sales. Like LinkedIn. Okay. Like, how many florists? I'm always saying as well, there are loads of boutiques on Instagram. And I'm like, what about us over on LinkedIn and Twitter? We'd love to see these clothes. We'd love to, we buy clothes. I buy clothes. I want to look well when I'm going to work. So, you know, there is a demographic, like my age group, you know, 50 plus, you know, maybe 40 to 60, they're on X as well. So just to be aware.
That's really interesting. And I know, Sam, you do, and it is something we will, and we're going to get you back in. You do workshops on how to setting up their Twitter and setting up, because I do think with a lot of these as well is starting out correctly rather than doing it wrong, getting shadow banned or whatever happens, and then trying to build back up. I think starting out to do it properly from the beginning is really important. And obviously Samantha, being the tweeting goddess, is the expert on Twitter and now LinkedIn as well. If anybody is looking to set up these accounts and learn how to use them properly. But really what I suppose I really wanted to get you on today, Sam, was for Social Media Fest. So last year was, we went to Social Media Fest last year.
You spoke
at it, but it was phenomenal. And Samantha, you have been running events like this for many, many years. And every time we go to these events, on our way home in the car, it's like somebody has given us the biggest kick in the ass. And we're literally on the way home. Okay, we do that, we do this, and we do this, and we do this. And we literally have, so normally I'm talking and Jeanette's talking, I'm like, write that down, write that down, write that down. As the stuff is coming into our heads, you know, talking to people on the day, the speakers, like last year, the speakers were just phenomenal. It was better than going and doing a one-day course. In the 20 minutes of whatever that they spoke, we learned so much. And I have seen, we have booked and we're going again. We have our tickets booked. We have our hotel booked. We're ready to go. But the speakers that you have, like, how do you get these quality speakers for events like this without giving away all your secrets?
Do you want to see actually my whiteboard just to see how it starts? This is how it starts, folks. See that list?
Wow.
See the list of names on the board?
Yeah.
So that's how it starts, folks. You know, it starts with, what do people need in my audience right now? What kind of speaker is going to give value? But all of my speakers, I have relationships with. All of them. Even Alison Arngrim, who was Nellie Olsen on Little House on the Prairie. I built a relationship with her on Twitter. I met her on Twitter. So, you know, it's all about people that I've been watching myself that I think, you know, that's great. They're really good experts at that topic. So we have an expert, for example, like Anita Wong. I mean, she blew everyone away.
And you connected us with Anita many years ago, many years ago. Like, and she's just, like, even just following her, you're learning so much. And last year she was like, oh my God, she blew us away with what she told us. And she told us stuff about our YouTube channel that even we didn't know, that, you know, she was just amazing.
Yeah, so people like Anita and Louise and, you know, I'm looking at the list here, John and Ashley, and, you know, even I brought in some kind of real stories as well this time. So that I brought in some people who've actually really had huge success on social media. Like Chad Byrne, for example, during the pandemic, he was a chef and everything closed down. And he wanted to start a kind of one of those vans, you know, the side of the road. The Hungry Donkey, it's called. And so but he couldn't get finance. So I got in a call with him. I said, do a crowdfunding. And he was like, what's that? I said, do crowdfunding. He raised, I think it was 20,000 in 2 days or something.
Wow.
So he was able to get his van. So, you know, this real stories is what we want to hear as business owners. We want to hear from people who've actually done it, who are in our situation. How did they do it? Yeah, how did they do it? Can I do it? And, you know, and that's, I think, really important for the audience. So I always make sure these speakers will give value to my audience, because I want my audience to leave the way you just said, all excited, ready to implement what they've learned. And I've gone to so many events and I've paid probably 4 times as much as what I'm charging for my tickets, and I haven't come away like that.
No.
So,
and you know what? And that is the thing. And I think, because I think of where you came from, Sam, and I don't mean this, but you started a business with nothing. You know what it's like to be in that place, and probably wish that there was you up there able to help you when you were in that place starting off.
I always say that I want to be the woman I needed to meet when I started my business.
Exactly. You know, so by running these events and making them so affordable, and like that, like yourself, we have went to events and have booked many events that are really, really expensive. And we come away from your event and we're like, oh, Jesus, like we're learning as much and coming away as motivated, connecting with people. The amount of people that we connected with last year was just, and guys, if you are thinking of going, go the night before, because the connections made in the bar the night before. It's phenomenal.
That's true. And I don't even drink, by the way, so you don't have to be drinking. Like, I was drinking tea. So, you know, absolutely, the connections that you meet beforehand, the day before. And I actually don't even organize like a speaker's dinner or something. I just say, you know, let's all just hang out in the same
do
place.
your own thing. Absolutely. And I think nobody's under pressure. And also what I found was that the amount of people that were there on their own and were saying, oh God, I was really nervous coming, but I'm delighted that I did. And everyone is so protective of people that are I didn't see anybody standing on their own, and if I did, we would have went over and spoke to them or whatever.
Well, that's one of the first things I say in my events is who came on their own, and then they might put their hand up, and then sometimes I even go over to the person and that gives them a bit of a boost. But they might not want the microphone, but at the end of the day, I usually get a message the next day saying, thank you so much for coming over to me. I was brilliant, because people knew who she was then and stuff. And a lot of guys come as well that might be on their own. So look, I just love bringing people together. It's like I don't drink anymore. Like, I'm 16 years sober, and these are my version of parties.
Yeah.
You know, it's my version. I love, it gives me goosebumps actually to see people giving each other their cards and saying, oh my God, I need you. I need what you do, you know, and that just brings me joy, and seeing the laughter. There's another thing as well. When you're in business, like, and you're a perfect example of this, you can still have fun. You can still be a serious professional, but still have fun and still be you, you know, and people buy from people, and you are your unique selling point. Like, I was at a breakfast networking thing this morning, and there was a lady in marketing speaking. She told us a lovely story. And I was thinking, you know, all the things she does, I don't do. So, like, just because we're in the same business, like, I specialize in certain things. So niches are really important. You know, so it's really important to build that network around you, so that you might have something, you might be asked for a service that are maybe a bouquet or a service. Maybe you're already booked for a wedding as a florist, and you might be able to refer business to someone else. So I know you encourage that kind of thing as well. And it's just makes sense, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the questions here, because we did this morning when we were talking in our own Bloom rooms, we were telling them that we were talking to you and that you would be on. hopefully tomorrow, the next day, I'll have this podcast ready to go. But so who is it for? Is it only for people starting out in business, or is it for people already in business? Now, my answer was, we're 38 years in business and we still learn. And last year, 2 of our past students who had only just started out, they were literally flying after doing it. So my opinion is it's for everybody. But Sam, tell me, who is it for?
It's for small business owners in particular that would have been that know that they need to promote themselves, but they aren't sure maybe if they're on the right platform. Maybe they're not getting results from their social media. Maybe they aren't sure if even they know their target audience. Like it's about teaching them the skills so that they will have success on social media. Because a lot of people might be, let's say, using Instagram, but as you say, it's flooded with other people just like you. Why don't you go where there's no other florists? It's like I go to events now. I don't go to social media events anymore. I go to events like manufacturing events, because they're the people that need me, people who are like leadership events, because they need me more because they don't have time. They don't have time to do in social media.
And that's actually something last year from Social Media Fest, sitting chatting with Anita, we realized it's actually better to pay Anita to look after our YouTube channel than it was for us to be spending all that time. Yes. And we connected with the people that could help us in our business to take some of the pressure off us.
Yeah, and you know what? And by the way, there's no sales pressure or anything like that either.
No.
Like, I mean, you will see who you need, and even if you can't, if you don't have a budget to afford somebody, the lovely thing about Social Media Fest is it's for you. If you haven't got a budget to hire somebody, for me, it makes it easier for me just to hire someone like Anita as well. Like I have 2 people that like spreadsheets. Don't show me a spreadsheet or accounts, and so I have a girl that does my invoicing, does all that stuff, right? So I'd rather pay someone to do the stuff that I hate and that I'm not good at, and I know with florists in particular, you're very creative. A lot of you are probably connected in some way to nature. So tech isn't supposed to make sense to you because you're creative. And I can't put together a lovely bouquet. My husband can, funny enough. He's very good at putting it into the vase, you know. But, you know, so that's not my happy place. So this is particularly for people like that have limited time, don't really want to be doing it, but they know they have to be doing it. So it's a great way to learn little tactics and little time-saving ways of doing it. And maybe sometimes you think, well, sure, I can't just put up a video of the shop. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. I want to see what flowers you have in stock at the moment. I want to see the colors. It's Halloween time. If you put up all, you know, anything like that, I want to see the behind the scenes stuff. I want to see you putting together that bouquet and stuff like that.
Yeah. It is. And that's what people like, as we'd often say, people nearly prefer, or if we post a video of a dirty floor, it nearly get more reach than a video of a fabulous bouquet of flowers, because people like to see what's going on. And we might post a photograph of, like here beside me, I have a pumpkin that we did on one of the live classes last night. And I could post a photograph of that, but people would pick up, oh, what's that in the background?
Yes.
It's not even about the flowers. It's about what's in the background. So yes, people definitely want to see what is behind the scenes. Samantha, I could talk to you for hours. How do people get in touch with you or buy tickets from Social Media Fest?
If you go to socialmediafest.ie, and if you're not in Ireland, one of the innovative things I've done is I have a virtual ticket as well. So you can join us from home. You can take part in the chat using the hashtag. I always try and make sure that we're checking in to see how are the virtual people doing. So it's like, it's not just, you're not going to be ignored, and you'll feel part of the whole thing. So yeah, the virtual tickets are only €35, which I think is really reasonable.
That's excellent. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can join us from anywhere in the world, and it's recorded. So even if you don't make it, you can actually, we will send anyone that buys a virtual ticket, we will send you the recording. So I think that's really nice.
Because that was actually one of my questions was, is there an agenda so people know what time they want to tune in, if there's somebody in particular they want to see? But if it's recorded, they can just chop in and watch out whenever they want. That's amazing. Well, you know, like €35.
I know, as an event organizer, by the way, that agenda can change, right?
Yes.
So I'm actually looking here and I'm just going, oh my God, there's 2 people missing off that list. I need to rejig this again, you know, so that they will be very short talks. So it'll be like 10 to 15 minute talks all the way through. So at least, you know, okay, if someone is boring you, which there won't be, but if someone, if something you're not
isn't interested in you. Yeah. Like if you don't want to do we say, I don't know, Instagram. Instagram already. You can skip that topic. And if you want to look at whatever, YouTube, TikTok, I suppose that's probably the one that we get a lot of questions on. Have you a TikTok expert speaking?
We have Jules Rules, and she is somebody who has it's changed her life because she started using TikTok. She will be able to tell us exactly all about how that happened, how it changed her life. And do you know what I love about Jules Rules? It's not all that complicated video editing stuff or anything. She doesn't use any of that. It's just her speaking.
Okay.
It's changed her life.
Simple.
Yeah, so I thought that would be nice to hear her story and to show, look, you don't have to have the fancy this and the fancy that and, cuts and edits and all that. You can just actually go on camera and, once you're adding value on the message. And she's quite funny as well. She's a comedian. And now she's doing stand-up because of
amazing.
Because of TikTok.
Super. I'm even more excited now.
Yeah, so... I wanted to get real stories, a mix of experts and a mix of stories of people who've actually used it really well for themselves.
Yeah.
And then we have Laura Dowling, the fabulous pharmacist, of course.
Oh, Laura, I've spoke at events with Laura before. She's just incredible. She's just an incredible lady. She really is.
She is. And you know what? Yeah, and she, we used to work together before. And so, these are relationships I've built. Yeah. So I can just reach out and say, look, you don't fancy coming to Wexford for just to do 15 minutes. It's like there are people, when you build valuable relationships, I know for a fact that, when we help each other like this, I know that if someone is looking for a speaker on something that is related to what you could speak about, then I can get, actually Wayne Denner spoke at another event I did in Croke Park, and there was someone in the audience, and he actually ended up getting paid to speak at their event. So,
yeah. There you go. That's what it is. That's what it's all about. So anyway, guys, I am going to post the links here below. The link to contact Samantha, the link for Social Media Fest, the link to buy the tickets. It's all going to be in the description below. If you have any issues with buying tickets or anything like that, contact Samantha. Don't contact me. We will be there the night before. I drink a red wine, and Jeanette will have a gin and tonic. Samantha will have a coffee or cup of tea. But we will be there the evening before, and we would love to see you all there. And if you're not there the evening before, we will catch up with you on the day. It's going to be phenomenal. I know it's going to be phenomenal because I have never been to an event that Samantha's organised that hasn't been amazing. So Samantha, thanks so much. The best of luck with Social Media Fest. And what date is it? The 20th of November, isn't it?
20th of November in the Talbot Hotel. I would come early because check-in will be open from about 8:30, but I'd say I'll probably open that at 8 o'clock. People tend to come in early, have a cup of tea, do the bit of networking beforehand. And it kicks off officially at 9, and it'll probably finish about 5. It might run over though. I'm just looking at my list here.
It never finishes at 5. Don't even think that's going to finish at 5. If your train is at 5.
Yeah. Book yourself for the day.
Book yourself for the day. Absolutely.
Next night. Yeah, a lot of people are staying the next night as well. So
we had actually thought about staying the next night, but we have an event on the next day as well. So we were like, okay, we need to get back to Dublin and sort out for that. But otherwise we would have stayed the next night and caught up with all the other stuff. Didn't stay the first night, they're only staying the second night. Anyway, listen, guys, thanks a million for those who have tuned in. As I said, contact Samantha. Samantha, thanks a million again. And we will get you again because I do want to get you on talking about LinkedIn and X, Twitter. And definitely for us, I want to learn more about LinkedIn too. So this is why I want to get you on. I want to pick your brains about LinkedIn.
Oh yeah, no, but it's powerful. Okay, folks, if you want to get to the people who are probably going to buy in bulk, probably going to buy corporate, anyone in business, B2B, LinkedIn.
Yeah. Okay, listen, thanks a million, everyone. Talk to you all soon.
Thank you.
Okay. So